Hello, I'm Manuel Neira with ERP Suites, Vice President of Product and Advisory Services. Welcome to our Barcode 101 video series. Let's talk about automation. There are multiple reasons why customers want barcode reading. One is it makes it faster and easier to track inventory in a warehouse. Besides ease and speed, barcode's major business benefits include accuracy, inventory control, and cost savings in your warehouse and inventory operations. Having an intuitive solution for barcode reading is fundamental, not only from an adoption perspective, but also from an operations perspective. The user interface must provide feedback on success and failure. It must handle exceptions gracefully. It must provide consistency in terms of the process and allow the user to be productive. And last but not least, the system must be configurable so they can adapt to your specific business needs. Beyond the traditional pick, pack, and ship scanning operations, companies have additional use cases where barcode scanning needs to be done by other individuals or other devices. Here are a few examples. Product needs to be scanned automatically as it moves on a conveyor belt. In these cases, scanning can be done by a fixed scanner tethered to the Windows PC or laptop. In other instances, items need to be scanned using a tablet, either an iOS tablet or an Android tablet. Due to space constraints, a fixed scanner that is tethered to a laptop or PC is not feasible. And 3, a warehouse manager needs to perform one-off inquiries on the floor by scanning barcodes. The manager does not have a barcode scanning gun and needs to use a mobile phone, either Android or iOS, to perform the scan. Let's talk about minimum technical requirements for scannability. There are many other considerations that will be taken into account when looking at vendors that support multiple platforms. One very important one is how vendors are creating and generating these multiple platforms or clients. Some barcode vendors have created solutions for different platforms and clients by way of maintaining and creating different code lines. Why should customers care how they've created these? Well, it's simple. That means that there's additional costs that the vendor is incurring in building these solutions separately. Multiple code lines represent additional costs for the vendor, but by way of development, testing, support, etc. The vendor will not eat these costs. Instead, they will pass those costs along to the customer. Second, multiple code lines for multiple clients and platforms can easily result in inconsistent functionality and user experience across the clients and platforms. You do not want that. ERP Suites uses a single code line to generate all the clients and platforms that we support for barcode scanning, thus keeping costs down and providing consistent functionality across all the clients and platforms, as well as a single user experience. Scannability is architected to leverage JD Edwards' digital platform, orchestrations. Currently, the minimum tools release customers should be running is 9.2.4.6. The answer to that question is really based on the architecture of scannability, which harnesses the features and capabilities of Oracle JD Edwards' digital platform, Orchestrator Studio, and orchestrations. There are 2 considerations to keep in mind. Number 1, Orchestrator was delivered in Apps Release 9.2 and Tools Release 9.1, back when it was focused around IoT. 2, orchestrations and Orchestrator Studio have been frequently enhanced by Oracle, introducing new feature capabilities such as orchestration high volume data and data service, just to name a couple. We continue to evaluate these new features and adopt the ones that will enable us to drive more value in the scannability product. As a result, we're currently sitting at the 9.2.4.6 tools release that customers need to be on as a minimum. Let's talk about scanners. First, it's important to understand details about scanners in the marketplace. As we know, there are many manufacturers of scanners that have a wide selection of models with different sizes, weights, drop ratings, operating systems, etc. Lots of different parameters. There are three primary operating systems that dominated the scanner gun market for ruggedized devices. Number one, Android. Number two, Windows CE. And number three, Linux. Android is the clear kind of gorilla in the marketplace today. Windows CE had a significant market share, but when Microsoft decided to sunset the operating system, needless to say, their market share went down. Subsequently, Microsoft replaced Windows CE with Windows IoT, but that operating system has limited platform compatibility, thus blunting its adoption. Android is the OS of choice for multi-purpose devices, such as ruggedized scanners, while Linux is the main one for single-purpose embedded devices, a slightly different market. Scannability overall, if we look at what we support, scannability supports Android-based scanning guns. Quick thing to consider, if any customers have Microsoft CE scanning guns, I advise these customers to look at the possibility of reflashing the scanners into Androids. Some of the Microsoft CE scanning guns can be reflashed to Android, so it's worthwhile for customers to evaluate this option. There's some additional details that I want you to know about Microsoft CE devices. Android-based devices are really starting to take hold of the marketplace. Device manufacturers that built devices on the Microsoft CE operating system are flipping those devices now to Android. What does that mean? That means that manufacturers aren't creating new devices with parts and capabilities specifically for Microsoft CE operating system. That means for any devices that you have on that operating system, the parts are becoming more expensive, the service is becoming more expensive as the warranty plans expire, and that means more cost for you. So make sure you keep that in mind and some things that you should consider. There are some devices also on the market that you should consider, such as the Zebra CT210K, the Honeywell CK65, which are some of the common ones that our customers are adopting for scanning purposes. Barcode scanning is not limited to personnel who are dedicated to the picking, packing, receiving, etc. processes. Where they scan products to trigger updates in JD Edwards, companies have additional use cases where barcode scanning needs to be done by other individuals or other devices. Here are a few examples. Product needs to be scanned automatically as it moves on a conveyor belt. In these cases, scanning can be done by a fixed scanner tethered to the Windows PC or laptop. Number two, a warehouse manager needs to take a one-off inquiry on inventory on the floor by scanning barcodes. The manager does not have a traditional scanning gun and needs to use his or her mobile phone, which can be Android or iOS, to perform the scan. These are a couple of options that we can consider in terms of those additional use cases. Let's talk about user experience. User interface and user experience is big for mobile barcode solutions because users need feedback when they're scanning. They need a consistency in the UI in terms of how that flows, the intuitiveness of how they scan and how they use the scanning gun, as well as it needs to show a business process that can be repeatable for the end user. Let's talk about analytics. It is true, the pick, pack, and ship, returns, receiving, and other similar processes are essential for barcode solutions to support. However, as we know, the world doesn't stand still. New economic pressures and industry challenges arise. We are still dealing with the supply chain challenges stemming from when COVID first hit us. The reality is that businesses will continually face new pressures, and they must be ready to anticipate these future changes. In order to keep up with these changes and be able to respond quickly and stay ahead of them, businesses need more than a solution that will automate their current as-is state. Businesses need solutions that will constantly be on the lookout for suboptimal processes and alert customers of correction actions that must be taken. Better yet, we need systems that will predict areas for improvement so the corrective action can be taken before the issue becomes a significant problem to the business. Scannability delivers analytic solutions that comb through vast amounts of data that is captured as part of the barcode reading solution, merges it with JD Edwards data, and processes it with predictive algorithms that allow us to provide recommendations to customers for continuous process improvement in their business.